Coming up, an episode all about animals and agriculture. We visit a working horse ranch in the desert, then a farm that's feeling froggy. We also introduce you to a few female cattle ranchers and so much more. California Bountiful starts now.
Hello and welcome to California Bountiful. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino. On this show, we feature a diversity of stories related to Golden State agriculture from a lifestyle perspective. Right now, I'm at a working horse ranch and date tree farm located between the peaks of La Quinta and the desert terrain of the Coachella Valley.
We weren't looking for it per se. It found us, and it's great, and I'm glad that it did. We were looking at a small citrus farm, and we were looking in the area. We were down toward Mecca before, and then this was available. The stars aligned, and we didn't force anything.
Marissa and Craig left city life for this 20-acre ranch and life in the desert.
So we're at 21 Arrows Ranch in Thermal, California, in the Coachella Valley. We have an event space that can hold up to 2,000 guests. We have 200 date palm trees where we harvest dates, and we have polo horse boarding for the polo club that's down the street. So where Coachella happens, that's actually where the polo club is. So the polo club came first before Coachella, and it happens from January to March. Most of the horses come down in November and start training for the season. And then they come here actually first from Canada or Florida or Argentina, wherever. And they start training here, and then they go off to the polo club, which is the 5th largest polo club in the United States. I would say that at the height of the season for us, we have 50 plus horses.
Kyle Fargy is the director and head instructor at the El Dorado Polo Riding Academy.
Polo is huge in the desert. I think if you play polo on the West Coast and you're serious about it, you come to El Dorado in the winter. So there'll be 20 teams each month at various levels coming from the world over. A lot of the pros coming from Argentina and South Africa and England. Sponsors coming from everywhere. Sunday polo is a big deal. They'll get a few thousand people at the club each Sunday. It's a great event.
And this polo pro explains when the horses aren't engaged in sport, a working horse ranch like this one is much needed.
It's so nice when the horses have to work hard all week to get a few days off to come enjoy the space, the peace and quiet. It means a lot. They get to refresh. We have 19 horses in the barn and a team that helps us support them. So, we're there every morning at 6, just looking after them, feeding them, watering them, cleaning the pens, getting them the right amount of exercise. Each horse is different. Each requires a different diet, a different amount of exercise, and then catering each horse to whom they might best suit when we give lessons. It's a lot, but we love it. I love all of it. I love the lifestyle. It's something, it is a lot of work, but if you enjoy doing it, it doesn't feel like work.
Outside of horse boarding, they have 2 resident rescues on property.
So we have our mascots named Pina Colada and Stella. They're both rescues. One is a retired polo horse. She used to play. She hurt her ankle, so she's living her best life on the ranch. The second one is Stella, and she was a racehorse. And then somebody dumped her in the desert, and the rescue horse company found her and rehabilitated her, and then we adopted her.
At the ranch, they also host events, and it is Coachella, so there are plenty of dates to care for too.
It's a year-round process. It's heavy into labor. It's considered one of the most expensive agricultural produce out there, so I've learned a lot. And then of course they're so tall, so it's slightly dangerous to climb up, a 50-foot tree.
So these are date palms. We have deglets and medules, and it's a very labor-intensive crop, and it gets quite messy. Just the date palms, just some go, and there's a lot of debris that needs to be removed. The trees also have to be pollinated, trimmed.
But they both agree, this is where they want to be.
My wife and I are very happy to be away from that hectic urban grind. It's pretty quiet, and what we really love also is just the amount of farmland nearby, carrots, broccoli, there's so much. It's great, and we just love this. It's a big open space, and it definitely has an energy to it that it lets us know nature here, lets us know that it's in control.
All of our LA friends that come here can't believe that there's so much land out here, and that you can, like, not see a building within, a few miles. And it's very peaceful and calming, and just feels really good to be here. Everyone, no one wants to leave when they come to 21 Arrows.
Now, your Bountiful landscapes.
Hi California, I'm Charmaine Turbo, head farmette at Turbo Farms in Los Altos. Welcome spring. It's time to plan for some beautiful blooms to grow. So what's trending? Pantone Color of the Year, Mocha Mousse, of course. Let me introduce to you blooms from all seasons that touch on this chocolate blushed hue that you don't want to miss. First up, Coco Loco Rose. With her dusty, huge chocolate petals, she checks the box for anyone who loves a blush palette. She has also become one of the most sought after roses for weddings and baby showers. When it comes to dahlias, say hello to Cafe au Lait Dahlia. This lush beauty has cream tones with hints of coffee. If you haven't purchased dahlia tubers from your local flower farm for summer blooms, it's not too late. Next, Chocolate Cosmos. This perennial offers dainty velvet flowers with a sprinkle of mocha to any garden. Now, when it comes to ornamental grasses, I love river oats. They are perfect for drawing in a hint of bronze chocolate tones, and their dainty seed heads are just graceful in any garden. Last but not least, I love heirloom mums. These late season beauties are packed with color and are incredible as a cut flower. Be sure to check out Fort Vancouver, Mocha, and Safina for those gorgeous, luscious tones. Thanks, California, for letting us share a little part of our farm with you. Be sure to find us on YouTube at Turbo Farms for more gardening tips and floral design. I'm Charmaine from Turbo Farms, flowers or bust.
Later in the show, our riveting segment about a Central California frog farm.
It takes about 3 or 4 or 5 months to get them up to size.
Plus, we'll introduce you to the reigning California Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year.
Her devotion to the animals and us really made her deserve this title.
And next, these cattlewomen got beef.
We have a huge backcountry, and it's full of cows.
And they're not afraid to tell you all about it.
California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau.
You know, Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also debating Manning. And honestly, this might be my best sport.
I would argue that it's not.
I think it might be.
No, it's not.
Is to.
Is not.
Is to.
Is not.
Is to times infinity, no takebacks.
You can't do no takebacks.
That's debatable. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Now, more ways to watch California Bountiful for free. Just find and download our all-new video app on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, or Amazon Fire. Then start streaming Bountiful content whenever you want. It's that easy.
Discover more California Bountiful and get social with us. See the stories we're working on and get a peek behind the scenes. Plus, more recipes and fun facts, and join other like-minded foodies and fans of California's bounty. Find, follow, and talk to us at CA Bountiful.
When you choose California Grown, you're a part of something good. Sound too good to be true? Not at all. It sounds responsible. We lead the nation in sustainable measures, plus some of the highest worker pay and protections. It sounds diverse, with 400 plus specialty crops produced statewide. And it sounds fresh because it was grown right here. Learn more at californiagrown.org.
I'm in Santa Isabel, where I've met a group of backcountry women ranchers who are maintaining family legacies while also embracing the future of cattle in the San Diego County. They call themselves the Cowbelles.
This is like San Diego's best kept secret that we have. Rolling grassy hills out here. It's not all beaches and palm trees or avocados. We have a huge backcountry and it's full of cows. So we have over 13,000 cows here in the county just grazing the back areas. And why that's so unique is because we're in a really fire-prone area. So the cows are helping graze the area and keeping our wildfire risk down. Even if you didn't eat beef, the cows are still needed out in San Diego County. We need ruminants in our grasslands. The cows are going to keep the area trim and clean for the wildfire danger. They sequester carbon, and then that also holds on to our soil. So by having that really great soil retention, we're also saving the urban areas from runoff.
Katie Ostrander is a cowbell.
I joined the Cowbelles because I married a 5th generation rancher, and I just wanted to connect more with other ranchers in the area and other ladies who have some of the same struggles and successes that I do. We have Diamond B Ranch in Warner Springs. It was established in 1922, and my children are 6th generation to be on the same exact parcel that we've always been on, and we still actually have 4 generations living there together.
She's part of a diverse group of San Diego County cattlewomen who promote the beef industry in the community, while also striving to keep cowboy heritage alive.
We have our Ag in the Classroom program where the Cowbelles go out to different schools throughout San Diego County and they visit and teach the kids all about the beef industry, whether it's beef nutrition, how we raise cattle, or we even do history lessons on Western heritage, cowboy history. We also have an adult education series for our fellow ranchers. And then we also get in the face of other adults and teach them about beef byproducts and just where the beef comes from in general and how it's a really sustainable product. Whether or not you eat beef, it's still part of your life. First of all, they have no idea what a cowbell is. And then they're also really surprised that we even have a beef industry in San Diego because most people think it's just the beach and San Diego County ends at the beach. And they don't realize how far east this county actually goes to where we do have these rangelands out here.
My great-grandmother was actually one of the founding members of the Cowbelles. And at that time, it was like an auxiliary of the cattlemen's. It was more of a social thing. And they used to do a big barbecue and just fun stuff for the cattlemen so they would get together and socialize and network. It's always been about being out in God's country, riding. I'm gonna get emotional. Sorry. But for me, that's what it's been. I ride a lot. I still ride a lot. Checking on the cattle, checking on the water. But that's it for me. It's just the peace, the beauty, being out with the livestock and the wildlife, just to keep the love of the land and the open space.
And this legacy cowbell is glad to see longtime traditions both carried on and innovated by the next generation of cowbells.
They're a very good group of gals. It's funny because we have the traditionalists, which are the gals my age and older, and then we have what I call the progressive, which are the younger gals. And I mean, there's so many things now that these younger gals are doing just to make a viable business on their ranches, because a lot of them, you know, have a lot smaller properties, so they have to do different things to make it work and to make money at it and stuff.
I grew up cattle ranching. My grandparents have a cattle ranch in Mesa Grande, which is about 5 miles from here. So I'm born and raised, and then I met my husband and we just kind of got back into raising cows because that's what we wanted to do as a family.
For this cowbell, it's about boots on the ground outreach and advocacy.
A ton of people who have no clue like what's going on outside of, you know, Poway or, you know, or San Diego proper for that matter. There's ranching heritage cows all the way to the beach.
We're always talking to someone about cows. It never fails, and about beef and about ranching in San Diego.
We have such a great lifestyle. It's the best place to raise your kids is in this Western lifestyle. It's a great way to teach them responsibility and respect. Every time we make a plan with our cows or our pasture, I'm always looking 2 to 3 generations ahead and saying, how is this going to benefit my great-grandchildren, just to keep this moving forward.
Now for a Bountiful Spotlight.
This is Aussie. She is our Australian Shepherd. She's 9 years old. When we had her, we bought her for the kids. Henry would have been 1 at that time and my daughter would have been 6. So when we got her, that's what she did. She hung out with the kids, and once Henry started going to school, she got kind of bored just sitting around the house, not having anything to do. So she started going to work with me. But that's what she does now. Most times she spends her mornings going around with me, and then she's got a night job too, which is watching over the livestock. So we ended up building her like a little house, has a heat lamp in it, so she can just stay out there all season long pretty much. I was at our ranch, and usually if I'm just working on stuff, I unclip her from the truck just so she can move around a little more. But then we had another dog come in and she bailed out the top of the truck and just must have landed wrong and broke her leg.
After Aussie broke her leg, I thought she'd just give up on farming and being a farm dog, but she just kept going. Like, nothing could stop her. When she broke her leg, she couldn't go to work, so she ran the mile to the farm because my dad wouldn't pick her up.
I didn't think she'd want to, be as active. I thought it would slow her down. I would say her 0 to 60 is a little slower now, but she still gets up and gets going. She chases after anything that wants to come in here. Even Amazon drivers sometimes, if they cross her eye,
Aussie, come on. Yeah, starting my own chicken farm, it's been really hard, and just having her be there for me and just watching over them, even when I can't be there, it means a lot to me, and I probably wouldn't have been able to start this farm without her.
And she's just, I think, our 4th kid.
So patient. The kids are always in her face, and she just lets them love on her and kiss her.
She's always riding around with me, and then just always here, just you come home and, she's ready to go. She's one that's a 1 in a million dog, I'd say.
To enter your farm dog or learn more about the annual California Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year contest, please visit cfbf.com. Still to come, a unique story you totally can't miss.
Once we were able to do the life cycle and to be able to breed on demand, that changed everything.
But first, a tasty recipe that's California grown. California Bountiful will be right back after the break.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
The California Farm Bureau has protected the diverse agricultural interests in the Golden State for over a century. As part of the California Farm Bureau, you'll add your voice to the combined strength of over 34,000 farmers, ranchers, and families through our state. That means more connections, more influence, and more opportunity to fight for the issues that impact your life. With your support behind us, California Farm Bureau's robust government affairs, federal policy and farm pact, and legal teams work tirelessly to advocate at all levels of government, protecting and promoting our shared way of life. Together, California Farm Bureau and our members are standing up for farmers, ranchers, and families throughout the Golden State every day, working to cultivate a bountiful future for all Californians.
California Grown Spotlight.
Hello, welcome to Trilio Food and Wine. I'm Chef Chris Shackelford, and we're going to do a little dish today that draws upon a little Italian, a little bit of French. We're in Fresno, California, so we have a little grass-fed beef, very popular here. It's a skirt steak cut. We have from the farmer's market some radicchio and some curly endive. What we're going to be doing is combining stracchetti, which is a sauteed greens and beef dish from Italy, and we're going to be kind of throwing a French play into it using a Lyonnaise-style salad. salad. We're gonna start with just seasoning our beef. I like seasoning our beef well in advance. And then from there, we're gonna work on our vinaigrette. So we're going to start with a little bit of bacon. We're gonna add in a large amount of chopped shallot, vinegar. We're gonna add some Dijon mustard and a little bit of thyme leaves to it. And I'll finish it off with a very local olive oil from Enzo, and then just cut off the meat. Next, we're gonna prepare our radicchio. We're gonna want to, radicchio is very bitter, but it is something that takes well to vinaigrettes. What we're gonna do is cut this into 6, and we're looking to kind of get a good black sear on both sides of this radicchio. And we're gonna prepare our curly endive. Add these in. We have some pistachios grown here locally, just chopped up a little bit. Skirt steak actually has a good intermarbling to it. We want to go to about medium rare to medium, so we're in that area. At this point, we have our steak cooked, our radicchio cooked. We're ready to dress our endive that has a little bit of deglet dates and pistachio in it and finish our dish. The last thing is salad lyonnaise, is traditionally a salad that's served with an egg, poached or fried, to finish the salad. So we have the radicchio, our dressed endive, our skirt steak, then thinly slice it. And now our egg is finished. We're just gonna add that. This is a classic California dish, something that you would call, winery style food or something like that, drawing upon different types of cuisines. This partake is a Italian play utilizing 2 different dishes and coming together in a California style using California ingredients from our local farmers market, from our creameries, and from our grass-fed beef production in California, paired nicely with a coastal Pinot Noir from the center of California and Santa Cruz Mountains. Pairs tremendously with both beef or any other type of California food. Enjoy.
Straight ahead, Okie Croaky, a Central Valley farm with a riveting story you won't be able to forget. This is California Bountiful.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Peyton Manning. I'm also Calculating Manning. Yep, math checks out.
Join me, Gary Sack, on the Voice of California Agriculture podcast, an insightful look into what's happening in the world of agriculture, from how crops and farmers are faring to legislative and regulatory issues, plus other farm and food news. It's our time to talk about all of it. What are the implications of foreign investment in the U.S. farmland? Find us today at Apple Podcast, Spotify, and California Farm Bureau's website, the Voice of California Agriculture podcast, where California agriculture speaks.
All I want is just you to stay here and to be here.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
These tadpoles have given a Madera County farmer's business its legs. We've got the story of Blue Lobster Farms.
We are in South Madera County, just north of Fresno, and we're on an 80-acre parcel of land which is planted with mandarin citrus. And we have a shed here which is filled with tanks, about 60 of them. In these tanks we grow and raise dwarf African frogs for the North America market in the pet industry.
Stuart Weil's story is a bit riveting. What had started with fresh shrimp at the forefront more than 4 decades ago eventually evolved into this frog farm.
We got involved in frogs in probably '83, so we've been doing it ever since. We used to grow a freshwater shrimp, and that's how we started the business. And it was great. We were a hatchery, and we also grew. We had ponds outside, and we grew thousands of pounds of shrimp. When we first started harvesting them, we were getting about $8.50 a pound round weight. That's live, basically, out of the water. The last year we did it, we were getting $3 a pound round weight.
That drop in price pushed the biz to leap into another direction.
So the economics just didn't seem to work out, and we were looking for other avenues to bring revenue in. We decided to concentrate more on the frogs because the frogs are sold by the piece, not by the pound. And so there's a big difference.
Moving into the aquarium industry, there was an adjustment to freshwater and research to successfully pursue amphibious aquaculture.
We came across these little frogs and we thought, gee, these are cute. And the best part about the frogs is they were very difficult to raise. So for us, we like things that not so easy. We figure out what needs to get done and we can make it work. Being not so easy keeps the competition away. That's how we settled on this. Once we were able to do the life cycle and to be able to breed on demand, that changed everything.
Clearly, there are no reproduction issues here.
We're set up to ship in bulk. So basically what we do, we ship to a distribution center. They'll have 20 bags that come from us. They'll take those bags out, they'll store them, and then they'll count 12 frogs that go to one store, another 12 go to another store, another 12 to another store.
And being business-minded, he eventually hopped into an additional farming opportunity too, mandarins.
In 2005, we started with 12 acres. It was basically just to give our employees something to do when they're not counting or not working with the frogs. And we put them in, and for the next couple of years, they'd go out and, work it. It was no big deal. Then all of a sudden, after 5-6 years, we started to sell them. We used the money from that planting to save it, and then a few years later, we planted more. So we kept growing as the income came in. That's how we grew.
So whether it's the fruit or the frogs, this farm is full of life.
When everything's calm and everybody's gone, you can start to see incredible behavior of these animals. When they're really healthy and happy, they'll take a breath of air because they breathe air. They'll go down and get underneath other ones. And then it slowly forms like a mushroom cloud and falls over. And then the frogs go back down underneath. And you'll see these massive just plumes of frogs just going over. And it's really amazing to see.
Don't get croaked up, but that's going to do it for this Animals and Agriculture edition of the show. Remember, we're also online at CaliforniaBountiful.com. Until next time, take care and have a great week.